Hello, what's up everyone, Sam out here with another Gunpla review, and in this video we will talk about the latest release, high-grade Gundam G40 industrial design version. This kit was released yesterday in Japan on December 14, 2019 as a retail limited kit with a price of 3,300 Japanese yen. And this kit was a collaboration result between Ken Okuyama Design and Bandai Hobby Center to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Gundam franchise, as well as the 40th anniversary for Gunpla next year. So if you watch my unboxing video for this kit, you may know that this Gundam G40 came with a completely different look for the box art, and it came with the 6 runners and 1 foil stickers. This kit also came with a special art book as a bonus, which describe the development and the design process of this Gundam from the beginning. Anyway, one thing I would like to point out from the beginning is that this kit is completely different in so many aspects compared to the previously released Gunpla kits by Bandai. For the start, I will talk about the aesthetic first. So this is how the kit looks like straight out of the box with some panel linings on it. And you can see that it looks so much different from the original RX-78-2 Gundam in so many ways. For example, instead of the sharp and blocky design of the original Gundam, this kit looks rounder and slimmer. Also, there are some changes on the body parts and armor from the original Gundam. For example, the head camera now looks different. The chest fans also looks different. The beam saber racks now could face downward if they are unused, and even the beam rifle and the shield look different. So actually there are some reasons for this, but I will talk about it later. Actually, you can feel the differences right from the start when you assemble this kit. So if you have some experience building high-grade kits, you may find that the assembly process of this Gundam G40 is unusual. I'm not talking about the order of the assembly itself, but how the joints and the body are constructed is so much different from the previously released high-grade kits. Also, this kit is one of a very few high-grade kits which don't use polycaps at all for the joints. The main body of this kit uses some kind of frame constructed from several ball joints part to improve the articulation of the body. Another thing I would like to inform you is this kit uses very soft polystyrene plastic, which is pretty similar with real grade kits. So please be careful when you cut and clean up the knobs. While the head has pretty similar construction with conventional high grades, the neck of this kit is quite weird. Usually, neck of Gunpla kit has 2 ball joints on its end to articulate, but neck of G40, on the other hand, has another joint in the middle which enables it to articulate in much wider angle compared to conventional kits. In contrary with any high-grade kits before, G40 uses single elbow joint. But this unique joint system enables the arms to bend in almost similar way as double-jointed elbow. Another unusual thing is part of the forearm, which has slight angled articulation. And similar with the arms, the legs use unique joints for the knee, which allow them to bend in very wide angle. Like the forearms, lower legs could also articulate slightly in angle direction from the legs axis. But unlike normal high-grade kits, the feet has 3 points articulation to enable them to bend wide, like a real human feet. The backpack of G40 was more or less similar with the backpack of conventional high grades, except for the thrusters. So high-grade thrusters usually use ball joints for articulation, but the thruster of G40, however, don't articulate by themselves. Instead, they were connected to parts which could articulate on the backpack. This makes the position of thrusters could change from the bottom of the backpack to upper side of it. So it looks like a mini version of Crossbone Gundam backpack thrusters. Unfortunately, these gimmicks make the thruster couldn't move sideways. And unlike most RX-78-2 kits, Beam Saber Rex now could rotate downward, in almost similar way with Unicorn Gundam in its Unicorn mode. Anyway, the most unique and controversial thing of this kit were definitely the waist and hip joints. So, RX-78-2 and many mobile suits usually have waist part in the form of skirts, which could articulate and enables the thigh or leg to move forward or upward, enabling the kit to pose into kneeling position. The skirt of this kit, however, was fixed. No articulation at all for the front, back, and side skirts. So, how could it kneel or do any other poses? Well, G40 has very unusual joints at its upper legs. In almost similar fashion with the neck, the middle of thighs now could extend under its skirt and articulate as well. So yeah, it may look really weird, but this unique joint indeed makes G40 could bend the upper legs as other high-grade kits without moving the skirts at all. Okay, for accessories, G40 came with a pair of beam sabers, a beam rifle, and a shield like normal RX-78-2. But unfortunately, there's no bazooka this time. This kit also allows you to choose between normal RX-78-2 yellow eyes or pink eyes from the foil stickers. Despite the unique joints in almost every part of its body, the G40 has really insane articulation. In fact, this kit has the best articulation I've ever seen from any Gunpla kit. So it can do many poses, from a very cool one to the most ridiculous one. It looks even more natural as human body compared to master grade or even real grade kit, except of course for the hip joints. G40 is also quite solid. I don't have any problem with falling parts. Okay, so now it's time to summarize this review. So, since the first announcement of G40 promo images, this kit has received mixed reaction from fans. Some people praise the articulations, while the others just bitching about the aesthetics of this kit. I myself must admit that G40 looks very different from any Gundam kits ever released by Bandai so far, in so many ways. Tell the truth, I hated the design so much when it was announced, and I was quite hesitated before finally I bought the kit. However, it was completely changed after I read this special art book. For your information, this book is not just a bonus with a bunch of artworks of G40. Actually, this book is a very important part of the kit itself. This art book tells the story about how the kit was designed from the perspective of its designers. So, it was revealed that Ken Okuyama, the main designer of this Gundam, himself actually felt troubled while designing the skirt design for G40. This G40 was designed to accurately follow Gundam representation of the original anime in 1979. So in the anime, the skirt of the Gundam was not articulated at all, while in later representations and evolution of Gunpla, the skirt has finally taken shape as we know now. In the end, the designers finally decided to stick with the original anime design while considering many aspects in case this Gundam was made into production in real life. And that's why it's called industrial design version. For example, the rotating beam saber racks and bumper on the backpack were important to avoid damage if the Gundam falls on its back. Also, the concave sides of the shield were designed to avoid stray bullets hit friendly units around the Gundam. So, from the perspective of the original anime, this kit is actually the most accurate and the most realistic version of RX-78-2 to date. But how about those with hip articulation? That's definitely not the same with human legs. It's so out of place and ugly, right? Okay, so these negative views came from our mindset of free robot genre itself. We've grown up watching Gundam and Gunpla evolve as it is now. We built our Gunpla, we painted panel linings, weatherings, just to make them look closer to reality. However, we should also realize that the reality which we pursue and many Gundam designs themselves are actually absurd in real life. For example, why do the Gundams need twin eyes like human? Why do they need V-wings? Why do they need legs in space? And of course, why do the legs should follow human anatomy in the first place? So, from mechanical engineering and manufacturing perspective, the most important thing is how the designs are cost-effective and reliable, not the aesthetics. Some Gundam designs such as 8MS Team and Advance of Zeta were actually follow this perspective, but not few people consider them weird and ugly. Also, actually, those weird joints also used in real-life robot, if you check the internet. So, from the mechanical engineering perspective, the design of G40 is actually very makes sense. So, in conclusion, this kit is great, arguably the most realistic representation of RX-78-2 in real life, and I recommend you to have it. How about the price? 3,300 is very expensive. Okay, now for comparison. This kit is also a limited version of RX-78-2 to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Gundam franchise. It is basically just a recolor of high-grade Gundam Revive with special stickers. And do you know the price of it? 3,000 yen, 3 times the original price. So compared to this kit, G40 gives you a new design, new experience, and of course, this cool art book. So for the special limited kit, 3,300 Japanese yen is a fair price for G40. Of course, in the end, it will be you the one to decide. I understand if people may still feel this kit is weird or ugly, because aesthetic is a very subjective thing. So if you want to stick with the mindset of real robot which follows the human anatomy, probably you won't enjoy this kit. In that case, just don't buy it, or even if you buy it, you can modify the skirt to match your preferences. And whatever your opinion about after buying this kit, I recommend you to read this art book first before building it. Okay, so that's all the review for the Gundam G40 industrial design version. I'm sorry if it went too long. Thanks for watching and see you soon with the unboxing of Bandai exclusive Crossbone Gundam X2 next time. Okay, ciao!